everyone, this is Samantha from Violet Sewing Tutorials, and today I'm going to show you guys how to make a little glove monster doll. And also just ignore any background sound. I have dogs and they like to be loud. Okay, to start you're going to need a needle, thread, and you can just use like any thread from like a bracelet making kit or anything, like just thick thread. It doesn't have to be thin. You can do thin if you want, but either works. And then a Sharpie, stuffing, and a glove. And this pattern works best like knitted ones where you can like actually see the holes in them. So like that actually stretch. Because other ones are going to be too thick to actually be able to do the sewing for the project. And this is the final copy of it. And you're also going to need a pair of scissors, which I don't have. And for this project, you probably want a pair of fabric scissors to start. And also the gloves, you can get them from like anywhere, like Target. It works best if you get them out like the dollar section where they've got like a couple of them attached together because they're really cheap that way. I usually get mine from Target. I have like the clearance section up at the front because they've got good stuff there. Okay, so to start, you're going to want to cut the thumb off the glove and the little thing at the top that they usually have, like the wrist thing. I already cut mine off, and I could find one that was not done, so I already cut the thumb off, but you just want to cut the thumb like up, and then just cut it across to get the top part off. And then you need to get your string. I can get this unraveled. And you probably want like, I don't know, about arm's length amount of string. You're gonna need enough to wrap it around this part, so I'd probably double that. So I'm gonna use that much. Just cut it. Then you want to thread the needle. There we go. And then I usually just tie it on there just so it doesn't fall off, so I don't have to try to thread it 100 times, because as you've just seen, it's kind of hard. And then you're just going to want to tie a knot at the end. And if you are struggling with tying the knot, Rebecca has made a video, and I'll put that in the link of the description below. And then you can figure out how to tie the knot properly, because it can be difficult for some people starting sewing. So I just usually tie my knots a couple times just to get it to stay. And then just cut off the end. And then to start, for this pattern you don't actually turn it inside out, but for most other patterns you'll need to. So to start, you're going to want to put your needle right here at the very bottom of where you cut the thumb off. And then just pull it through. And make sure the knot goes on the inside of the fabric. You don't want it on the outside or you'll see it. It came through, and if that happens, just put it back in there. And if it keeps doing that repeatedly, just tie the knot a little bit tighter, because it may not be big enough to stay in there, or just don't pull it that hard when you pull it through. And then you're going to want to start using the whip stitch, which is just like that. And sometimes the fingers get stuck on the yarn or thread. So this is the whip stitch. It's basically, you just keep putting your needle in the same spot and then pulling it through. And yeah, the fingers get really stuck all the time. You keep the thread in front of it, sometimes it helps. And if you just keep using the whip stitch all the way up through it, it should start to close up the side. So you'll notice the side starts closing up. Okay, so when you get to this spot right here, you're going to want to stop. And you're going to want to start filling your little glove monster with the stuffing. So get a little stuffing, and you're going to want to start like using smaller pieces just because the legs and arms are a bit smaller. And push it through. and then just keep putting the stuffing in each leg, and make sure each one gets like really stuffed, or it'll end up like going flat. And then just keep moving on through all the other legs. Oh, knock my camera over. There we go. Just keep pushing in. More stuffing until you get to all the end of the legs. Fast forward. 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 Keep fast forwarding. I'm gonna go get more stuffing. Good boy, sis. Fast forwarding. And start. So now that you've gotten, once you get all the legs stuffed, you're just going to want to start stuffing the top of the head part. So if you just put all the stuffing into the head, you might want to use smaller pieces because sometimes it can get difficult to actually get it to fit in there since the top is open. Just keep stuffing it. And there's no like thickness it has to be, but you can just stuff it up to the top. You can make it less or you can make it more, depending on how much stuffing you can actually get to fit in your glove. Okay, once you're done stuffing it, you're going to want to start with the thread again. And this is going to be harder than earlier just because it's opened and it's being pushed apart by the top of it. So you're going to want to start right here at the opposite side that you ended at. Pull it through. And I'm dropping it. It's awkward to hold when it's stuffed. And then put it through the other side. Just continuing kind of like the whip stitch. Goes in here. And also make sure your stitches stay tight and kind of close together. It usually doesn't work very well when they're not very close together, or it'll start to fall apart and there'll be holes in your project. But you really don't want that. And if you just keep going. Okay, so when you get to this part where you've got a little bit left, if you just take your finger and push it in a little bit, so it kind of goes inside the stuffed animal, and you hold it, pinch it shut, you sew it up this way, it'll create a nicer seam on the side of it, and helps it stay together better. That way it holds better when you're done with the project too. And then just kind of sew up that edge of it. Okay, when you're done, just make sure the string is pulled tight, but if you have like really thin string, do not pull very hard or you'll snap it off and it'll be hard to fix. If there's any stuffing just hanging off the top, just pull it off. Okay, so to finish it, you're going to tie a knot, and you're going to want this to be able to hold very well because you don't want it to like come apart. Put that there. I would tie a couple knots just so that way it doesn't end up falling apart, because that's always the worst when you're done with a project and it starts unraveling because you didn't do it properly. I would tie like 3 or 4 knots. That should be enough. And then when you're done with it, you just want to, I usually just do this where you just push your needle into it with like knitted things like this type of fabric, just because it goes through so well. And then just pull the rest of the string through here. And the string will just come out somewhere random. And you just take that, pull it tight, and cut it. Then it should come off and it'll flatten up again. And now you just need to draw your face on there. And obviously mine doesn't look very neat, but I sew better usually when I'm sitting down and I'm standing for the video, because it's kind of hard to sit and see the video at the same time. Stand and see the sit, yeah. Okay, so draw the face on, just draw, using your Sharpie, just draw a face on there. And you might have to like really like rub the Sharpie on there or it won't stick very well. The Sharpie's kind of dying. And just draw a smiley face. And also there's an alternative way. If you want to do this with the buttons, you can do that before. Like when you have the glove without the stuffing in it or even sewn up the side, you just sew 2 buttons where you want the mouth or the face to be. And then just do a little basic embroidery stitch on the mouth. And if you want to do this way, we also have the written up instructions for this project on our website. And I'll put that link below to the page that you guys would need to see that. And it's got the instructions on how to do the buttons and the embroidery, but for the sake of the video, I'm just doing it so it goes faster. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you liked it, please subscribe to our channel, because we need subscribers, and leave a like. And if you have any questions, just leave it in the comment section below. Bye guys!